I gotta say, I love Christmas. I think it's great fun. There's lots of cool traditions. Presents are pretty awesome. Family and friends are pretty awesome. Good food is very awesome to me. Terrifying kids in the name of tradition, though, not such a big fan. Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Brett Pearce, child psychologist, coming to you with just a little bit of a Christmas time rant from the office of a practicing child psychologist. If you're new to this channel, please do consider subscribing. There's a button down below. Or if you're a returning viewer and you have not subscribed, please do click that button if you've enjoyed my content rather. It really does help out the channel. So let's jump into the subject of kids and visiting Santa. Because boy howdy, do I have some strong opinions on the subject, and lucky you get to listen. Well, I guess, you could just click away from the video, but you're not gonna, are you? I don't know. So let's talk about kids being forced to sit on Santa's lap when they don't want to. Now, if we removed the name Santa and I told you, hey, I've got a 4-year-old girl and I made her sit on a strange man's lap while she was screaming and crying and terrified, and I took pictures to post on the wall and on social media, you would probably be going, okay, that's interesting. I might be ready to be making some phone calls and expressing some concerns or something like that. Now, again, I don't mean to get too much on your case if, you've already taken your kid to visit Santa and they were terrified. But more, I'm really inviting you to slow down, pay attention, and just to consider the situation from a different perspective. Because I just have a hard time understanding why, in many cases, we seem to feel as adults and even as a culture that it is okay to terrify kids or to put them through a lot of intense negative feelings or to spank them, which is effectively hitting. There's all these things that we do that if we really thought about it, we'd be like, wow, there's maybe some concerns there, but we just seem to have a hard time really considering the reasons for what we're doing and what potential impact it might have. Because we could start to list a lot of the issues with forcing your child to sit on Santa's lap if they don't want to. Now, that's the big qualifier. So if your kid is perfectly happy about it, perfectly comfortable with it, it's perfectly acceptable. I mean, it's a well-established cultural tradition, like it's a Christmas thing, that's great if your kid likes it and is into it and feels comfortable with it. But if your child doesn't feel comfortable with it and is indeed scared of it, it is not a good idea to force it on your kids. I'm sorry, I just can't endorse it. So for starters, number one, you're teaching your child that that it's okay to be forced to, sit on the lap of a strange adult that they don't know or trust. I mean, granted, it's with your supervision and permission, but still, that's not a great message. Number two, terrifying your child unnecessarily has its own not so great impact. It feels bad. It really feels bad to be that scared. It can happen. We all have the capacity to feel negative feelings. Negative feelings are not wrong per se. It's just that, if I told you that I did something like that to my best friend while I laughed at them and, took photos, I mean, you would be pretty justified and be going like, wow, why would you do that? And so my question is, okay, so why is it okay when we now say it's a kid with Santa? So the third concern I have, so the first concern was about the issue of teaching your kid that it's okay for them to be, cattail cameo. There we go. She loves to come and stand in front of whatever it is I'm doing. Typical cat, I guess. What was I saying? Okay, so I was listing the concerns. Number one, first concern is that we're teaching the kid that it's okay to be forced to be in close physical contact when you're not comfortable with an adult. Number two, we're terrifying the kid, and forcing the kid to endure that unnecessarily. I mean, when there's a real legitimate reason for it, like a doctor's visit or something, that's different. But when it's just for the sake of just a cultural meme, like, or a cultural tradition that doesn't really serve a lot of function, I think, then no, I'm not so okay with it. And then the third concern is just that what we're doing is training the kid to just passively accept something that terrifies them just because. I just don't necessarily think that's a great way to go. And I'm not alone in this concern. There's entire movements out there about non-coercive and more like I guess you might call it peaceful parenting. I think I've heard it called, which is I think a good term. That agrees. It's concerning that to have kids just being terrified, and then we're taking photos of it like it's cute. And I got to tell you, it's not so cute. I mean, it's scary. So I just invite everyone listening to this video to just be aware, make sure your kid's okay. If they're not, please don't make them sit on Santa's lap, especially if they're having, outright panic. And that's what that screaming and crying and all of that is. It's panic. It's not just the kid being a brat. It's not just some adorable child behavior. It is fear through and through. So thank you for listening. This is Dr. Brett Pearce, child psychologist, coming at you with one of many sort of ranty videos. I guess I'm prone to making them this way. I promise to try to not always rant. So thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.